Alright, so welcome to the video. In this video, I'm just gonna go over all of my scalps yesterday on all of the stocks and trades that I took. And I'm gonna explain to you what I look for in my A plus setups, all of the criteria that, meet an A plus setup for me. Yeah, don't wanna make this intro too long. Let's jump straight into the video.
Okay, so for SPY, alright, let's go over SPY. So as you can see, we have support. Get my ink out. We have support F590 down below. Market sells off and makes one bottom, kind of pulls back and then hits support, making a double bottom. At this point, so this is what I like to see in my A plus setups, right? I like to see the market sell off or hit a top and then wait for what's going to happen, whether the buyers are going to step in, or whether the sellers are going to keep going or step in when the market's at the top, right? So we see a double bottom, and you can see that this is where I took my entry. These gray circles. What we see right here is another higher low, and we get this A plus trend line break. Right, I got in a little early because I was anticipating it, but an ideal entry would be at the break of the trend line. Set your stop loss and take your profits 2 candles up, right? So right around here, I take my profits. I left some runners on, and I actually got out at the top at like right here with my runners. So super good trade. I think I made like 2K or 1.5K from that today. So I'll pop up all my trades and how much I made on each of them. So that was SPY. So let's mark this A plus. QQQ is a NASDAQ. Let's take a screenshot. So same thing here, makes a double bottom, right? You could get in on this pullback technically. Enter right there, exit right there, right at support. After this double bottom, gives us another higher low. Trend line break, enter, exit, exit. That is also an A plus. It just has an A plus setup. To me is an asymmetric setup where you're getting the pullback. You're having multiple confluences. In other words, you're having many different factors that give you confidence to enter a trade, right? So you have the double bottom hitting support, buyers stepping in, big volume surge coming in, right? You have a higher low, so it's a change of structure. It's a bullish structure coming from a bearish structure. You have a pullback, a trend line break. There's a whole confluence of factors that make this an A plus setup. SMH, semiconductor ETF. I didn't take any trades on it, but I do like to monitor it while I trade. You can see that it's this bottom, higher low, or arguably a double bottom. Right? This is the higher low. Gives us a nice pullback. Enter, exit, exit. NVIDIA. So I did take a couple of scalps. Some were wins, some were losses. But let's take a look at what happened today with NVIDIA. So it sells off, right? It's low, finds a low at 124, and it's pulling back, right? At this point, you don't know what it's gonna do, right? It can very well break this and start heading back down. But in this case, it decided to give me these higher lows and a nice trend line break, right? Which is why I entered right here. I entered right here because I saw that it was consolidating, right? I was anticipating the trend line and the breakout. If you like to wait for confirmation, you can enter right here as well. And I pretty much took my profits right here and then left my runners out until right around here when I saw that I hit that resistance level at 129. So that was a good trade. And then another trade I took was the reversal, right? So I drew this long trend line. Let's mark it with a different color. So there's that trend line, right? Now for red, I went short at the break of that trend line, right? And what did it do? It retested the green trend line at this point. And I actually think I got out because I exited emotionally and prematurely when I shouldn't have. But quickly I re-entered because I just realized it was just a trend line retest of the trend line. And it also gives us another trend line break and a pullback. So I enter, and then two candles down, I got out. And then I must have got out of my runners right around here. So that was NVIDIA. Overall, the A+ setup for NVIDIA would have been right here. And arguably right here. This is more like an A-. You're kind of late. Let's look over Tesla. Yeah, so Tesla, I had a couple bruises, but it did end up making me the most money. And I'll show you why. So at this resistance level, just totally sells off for downward slush, right? And I'm waiting for the bottom. I'm waiting to see what it'll do, right? And at this point, just keeps making these lower lows and finally hits the bottom right there, right? Hits that low. And at this point, I'm waiting whether it's gonna just pull back and, slide more down, even though, usually when it goes down so vertically like that, it's kind of hard to imagine a stock, selling off more. But it is possible. So you see that now it starts to make a higher high, and I was getting bullish, right? This was one of my A+ setups where it falls down to a support, hits a low, buyer step up, I get a nice pullback, and so I entered right here. And then what happens, quickly falls back down, and I get out at this candle for a loss, right? So it doesn't always work, your A+ setups. I got the confirmation of that trend line break, right? And that's where I entered, but just came straight back down. So I was like, okay, I immediately switched biases, and this is where I entered my shorts. Let me switch color. Enter some there at the break of that trend line, right? basically another bear flag right there. So at the break of that trend line, got in for some puts, and I was pretty deeply convicted with this one, so I went in with a little bit more size, and I pretty much got out right here and probably some up here. So yeah, that was a good trade. I would rate this, yeah, I mean, the way that I quickly reacted and adapted to what the market was giving me, it was an A+. A+ sell setup. Let's take a look at AMD. Didn't really look at AMD today. It's kind of a stock that's just kind of sliding down. But if you were monitoring it, I say the setup was the break of this trend line. Something like that. You get the idea, right? It's just consolidating from 9:30 to 1 o'clock, right? Just consolidating this whole time. I'd get in at the break of this and just write out my runners, right? So take the majority out of my position here, take some runners out right here. I mean, at this point, you know, if you're getting in here, it's a gamble, right? You don't know when it's going to come back up, right? So, you know, with this long of a consolidation, you know, say it's a pretty good setup. I'd rate it an A-. Let's take a look at Apple. So Apple was a stock that I took a loss in today. See why. So yeah, as the market was selling off, you know, Apple was relatively strong compared to it. You know, it sells off, finds the bottom, right? Arguably a good entry right there, and just goes straight vertical while the market is tanking. Oh, somebody's buying. Someone with a lot of money is buying. And I guess, you know, the setup that I took it was definitely a B or a C, because first of all, when a stock goes vertical like that, it's not a, you know, high likelihood that it'll just keep going like that, right? It'll pull back, or if anything, give back half of its move or all of its move, which it, you know, obviously did. But, you know, me and my bull flags just love it so much. So I saw this trend line, saw this break, and I entered right here. Right as it broke, got out for a loss. It was a pretty straight flush down, so, you know, with a market order, I probably got out right there. And it just quickly reversed on me. So that's the importance of cutting your losses quick. If it's not it, and move on, you know? Plenty of other stocks. And then once it starts selling off, you can see that basically this was a top at 250 and gives us, you know, nice consolidations where get in here, you know, get out, right? Palantir made a quick buck, wasn't too crazy, but did see a setup. I took the sell setup and missed the buy setup. Buy setup was more lucrative. See, it sells off, gives us a nice trend line. This is where I enter. I was kind of late on it, right? Really, I should have gotten right here. And I got out right here, actually, because you know me, I like take my profits at 2 candles. So got out right there, and then got out of my runners right around here, only like $150 if I could remember correctly. So 85 was the bottom, that was the low. Gives us a higher low right here, right? Arguably a double bottom, and gives us a nice pullback similar to the SPY setup or the QQQ setup. And totally missed the entry, right? Could have gone in here, right? Got out here, get out here, maybe get out here. That was a good setup that I missed. This is A plus for me. When it hits a double bottom, a higher low, and a bull flag trendline break. Absolutely delightful stuff. See, let's take a look at Amazon. Sells off, right? If you're one of those quick, bid hitting or ask hitting snipers, try to time these pullbacks. I mean, this is really a pause in my book. It's a gap. It's a pause go, or it's a go pause go setup, right? Where it just kind of stalls. You could get in right here, but this was a setup that I saw and drew in real time. I don't think I took that setup. I think I just drew it in, saw that I missed it, but makes a low right here at 204, and it's just a, how much more of a bullish candle can you get? This is just a buyer saying, trying to defend 204. So that's like the most bullish candle I've seen yet this year. And yes, sometimes, when sell-offs happen, you'll see that quite often, right? So it gives us a low right here, gives us a higher low here, higher low here, A plus bull flag setup and trendline break. You can see I anticipated it right at the perfect time. This was like a perfect entry, and then I think I got out like right here, and then got out on my runners like right here. So definitely an A plus setup, A plus execution, and really I could have held my runners, but you never want to shoulda, woulda, coulda in this game. You just take what you get and move on. Got a couple more stocks. Let's take a look at Microsoft. So I do remember me kicking myself for missing this setup. It's not really A plus, but when the whole thing was selling off, I was looking for something with a nice pullback, and so really could have gone in here, and was kicking myself because I literally missed these two vertical candles. But you can see it's a low at 397. Buyers push it back up. Right? This is all about price action. Just reading the chart, reading the candles. Candles will show you everything, right? That's the whole point. It's a price action analysis. So, highly recommend you reading, was it reading? It was a candle analysis by Al Brooks. Yeah, highly recommend that book. I think when I got it, I just dedicated like 2-3 weeks to reading it and just got it over with. Pretty good info in there. So, higher low, I'll say I definitely got a lot of good concepts from his book in terms of how I scalp. Not really how I swing, but how I scalp. And so, what did I do? Yeah, this would have been a nice little setup. I'd say just an A- setup. You know, this you do have a trend line break, but it's kind of an ugly one. You know, I like the ones that kind of go like this, kind of consolidates. All right, and then goes. So give it an A-. But oh yeah, this was a loss because I got in right here and basically saw that, you know, I really wanted to just keep doing this, which all the other stocks did, but this one didn't. So I think I got out for a loss like right here. Nothing too crazy, pretty much break even. But it was definitely a loss. It's not that bad. Let's take a look at Meta. Yeah, so Meta was a great trade. Nailed it on both sides. Sell side and the buy side. So as it was falling down, you know, I figured, I mean, there was resistance right here, right? And, you know, it just keeps making these go pause go patterns. And I figured I'd just get in here. And if it didn't go immediately, I set my stop here. If it didn't go immediately, I'd get out, and what I do, just flush it straight down. So I got out right here for a nice profit. And then you can see that I drew this trend line because I liked it, but I didn't take it because I just took profits on the trade before. But that would have been a good setup. Then it's a low, 641. Gives us this higher low and this beautiful bull flag, right? Surges up. Really should have gotten in here. I was late and got in here. And this is what I wanted Microsoft to do, right? Just immediately go up. So I think I took my profits here and then left some runners out, you know, for maybe right here or here, but it was a good trade. We're almost done, I promise. Almost there. Google. Did I take a trade? I definitely took a trade. Whenever I take my trades, I enter or I mark it with a gray circle. So what happened? Sold off, broke this level that I had here, and retested it. Came back down, and I thought, you know, it was kind of consolidating for, you know, it's like 30 minutes, 40 minutes of consolidation. So I figured once it broke it, I would enter. And when I started, you know, it kind of went down and then came back up. Figured that was a low. So I think I got out right around here for a loss. So this was really, I rated a B or C setup. Really shouldn't have taken it and just waited. This was my A+. You see how it breaks it, retest this level, gives us a higher low, nice trend line break. All right, so this is where I entered right here, right here. I think I got out right here and then right here for a quick one. Netflix. All right, we're pushing 24 minutes. Losing my voice. Do this pretty efficiently, as efficient as I can. Sells off, gives us this nice pullback. Yep, so I entered right here and see, I think I got out for some profits here and then right here for a nice little win. What to do? Make a low, arguably an entry right there. take profit. I got in right here, took some profits right around here, I believe, for pretty small win, nothing too crazy. This was arguably another trade, maybe get out there and then right there. Just constantly made these bull flags, but at the end of the day, this wouldn't have worked. You would have got out for a loss right around there. TSM. Yeah. It's whatever. Don't wanna. You can see that I had a triple bottom. Alright. Maybe could draw this, but really it's not an A+ setup. No. You do have the higher low and the triple bottom, but don't like this pullback. It's kind of ugly. She's ugly. She's mid. AV go. Yeah. Definitely took this trade. This was A+. Now sometimes your A+ setups won't exactly pan out how you want exactly, but it's life. Double bottom. Exactly what I look for. Buyer stepping in, right? Higher low. Beautiful trend line break and pullback. Got in here. So I think I exited some right here, and then once it started falling back down, I saw that it was weak. Probably got out there for a break even. So we got Crowd, Coin, Master, QCOM, ARM, Costco Hood. Yeah. Go over those and call it a video. I'll make it even shorter for each stock now. Bottom, higher low. So I try to enter at this trend line break, and I think I wanted more, so I got out for a loss here for Crowd. I think that's what happened. But you can see a higher low, A+ setup, entered here, and probably took my profits up here. See that I drew this out, but never entered it. Would have been a good trade. Get in right around here, get out there. Coin, I took a couple trades on these. Yeah, took that pullback. Alright, sells off, pulls back. Figured I entered the break of that trend line. Got out right around there. Master. So Master was one of my biggest losses until I was kind of having my little, what's that called? Emotional revenge mode with the stock. So, because when it sold off and pulled back, I entered here and bounces off here, and I figured it wasn't gonna go. I was giving a timer because technically this could have been a little, trend line retest. So I gave it some time, and I was just sitting through all of that, right? So I think I just cut it off right here for a loss. But then I saw that it broke it again, so I got in for puts again. And then what does it do? Comes back up and I get out for a loss, right? So I'll lose 2 times on it. I think I'm down like 2,000. And then it kind of, retests that trend line and comes back down. I'm like, all right, when I look at the bigger picture, it's been consolidating from 9:30 to 1 p.m., right? So with that big of a consolidation, my conviction arises and increases, my size increases, right? And I did have a personal vendetta against this stock. So got in for some puts here, right? You can see a little bear flag, right? So I got in here with some more conviction on this breakdown, and finally broke down, went in at the perfect time and got out right around there, and then right there with my runner. So shaved off part of the loss. Thing ended up with overall losses on puts with MicroStrategy of about 1,000. QCOM, see that one setup there. Costco. Yeah, Costco is relatively strong compared to the whole market, as you can see. Price action was ugly though. This should be the second to last stock. I mean, as the market's selling off, it's just kind of consolidating. Breaks, the rejection level, now turned into support. Right, and so I'm looking at the bullishness and this big break of the trend line with all these higher highs. I enter here and it gaps down below my trend line, so probably get out, with a loss right around there. And then you can see that, just quickly reclaims it, makes these higher highs and higher lows. And Drew's trend line didn't take it though, but arguably a good trade. Last stock, Hood. Yeah, pretty simple, just sells off. Right, pulls back. It's a low of 44, pulls back, entered right here, got out right around there. Yeah, that should have been around 25 stocks if you guys stuck through the end. Either you love my midnight, post market analyses with, lack of sleep, lack of caffeine, and poor energy, or you just really want to get rich. Either way, thank you for coming, thank you for watching. Hope you learned something. Hope you're able to get something out of this video and start making some money for yourself with some of these strategies and principles that I share with you. So I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.